everyone, and welcome to the Bear Necessities. I'm Bear, and today we are doing a really quick, it does take 2 hours, but it's 2 hours in the fridge. Really quick, easy candy recipe. I know that we do a lot of baked goods, but sometimes you just need something that's kind of easy to throw together and still wows people. And so today we are making 2-ingredient truffles. Now I have 3 ingredients, and I know you're going to argue with me, but it's because I want to coat the truffles in chocolate. So we have chocolate to melt. That's the 3rd ingredient here. But your ingredients are sweetened condensed milk and plain cocoa. That's it. Now, for the original recipe that I found on Neko's Kitchen and on my absolute favorite channel here on YouTube, it's EmmymadeinJapan. Emmy, if you see this, oh my God, I love you so much. Please see this. I saw both of them make it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this too, just because 1, I love truffles, and 2, I want to see how these turned out because I've heard that they're kind of pillowy and light and really decadent. And then I wanted to cover them in chocolate because chocolate, and y'all know me and chocolate, like I will fight you for some chocolate some days, sometimes. Well, for the original recipe, you need 240 grams of sweetened condensed milk and 100 grams of cocoa. Now 100 grams of cocoa is right around a cup. So if you're doing volumetric instead of weight, just go with about a cup, like a nice even cup. It's the tiniest bit over, but it's not much. It's like 110, 115. So don't worry about that. Like, it's not enough to affect it really. 240 grams though. So when you buy sweetened condensed milk, it comes in a can that is 396 or 397, depending on the brand, grams. So it's about 14 ounces. Well, we don't need all of that, right? But we're looking at it, it's right around 400 grams. So it's 80 short of a double. If you want to use your entire can of sweetened condensed milk, then you're going to want to do a 1 2/3 recipe because it's right about what you're looking at here. So the sweetened condensed milk, if you just want to go with the original and you're not going by weight, it's right around a cup as well. So, equal parts. If you want to go ahead and use the entire can, then you're going to do 1 2/3 cup of cocoa and then the whole can, and it'll turn out great. So there you go. Maybe add a little extra cocoa, just, as the texture goes, just to make sure it's really there. You'll see the texture because it's very firm before we chill it. And so if it makes it to that, you're perfect. You're golden. Now to get started, we have a pot, just a little one, because we do need to warm the sweetened condensed milk through just to bubbling. So not quite a boil, but it does need to be a bit hot. Just, it helps it work better. Helps everything kind of melt together really well. And I'm using a non-fat sweetened condensed milk. You can actually use the sugar-free ones. You can use vegan ones. Whatever you want. They all turn out pretty well. The sugar-free ones have thickeners in them. So it sets up about the same. The vegan ones are fine. They're usually soy or coconut or something like that. So, whatever. But I'm using non-fat because it's what they had at the store. They didn't have regular for some reason. I don't know. It was weird because it's the end of March. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But let's go ahead and get this warming. And like I said, we're just bringing it up to a bubble, not a boil. So it only takes a minute or so for it to come up. It's mostly because of all the sugar, because remember, sugar heats really quickly and it holds heat. So we don't have a lot to work with here. And since I'm just doing a standard recipe, so the 240 grams, there's not a lot starting here. The rest of my sweetened condensed milk, I went ahead and popped into a container and put it in the fridge, and I'll use it for something else. I'm thinking I'm probably going to make some cinnamon rolls in the next couple of days, and that'll go fantastically in the glaze. So there we go. Now, since I'm using an induction cooker, I have to really, really, really watch what I'm doing here. Because of the amount of sugar that we see in this, it can scorch very quickly. It's already at a bubble for me. And I realized I had cocoa on my spatula. So I got a little bit of cocoa already started in here. That's fun. So I had little chocolate streaks. That's delicious. All right, but now that we have it hot, not, screaming boiling, but rather on the warm side, as I just needed a bubble. Just put that over and away so that we don't hear it anymore. There we go. And I'm going to slowly add in my 100 grams of cocoa. I'm going to do about half and then half. And it becomes kind of like a dough as you add the cocoa in. And you have to stir for a while. And also, you are going to need a pan of some sort. I'm going to use my little cake pan that I use in my toaster oven. It's also a great brownie pan for my house of 4. So, keep stirring, keep stirring. This already smells amazing. Now I'm using my favorite cocoa, which is the Hershey's dark chocolate. So I am using that in here, mixed with, because I only had so much, a Ghirardelli dark chocolate cocoa, because they had a coupon. And y'all, coupons save lives sometimes. And so it's got this amazing dark richness to it that I'm personally very much looking forward to. I love dark chocolate. Right, it's really starting to come together as a dough now. It is very, very firm, very thick. And I may actually need to move to a wooden spoon because, oh my gosh, because of all the sugar and everything, it's also very, very sticky. There we go. Just gonna put that there because we are gonna need the spatula, but I want to make sure I get everything off the sides. Really having to work on this, so I'm sorry for all the noise. Here, I'll just move it. But I mean, if you see, like, it's holding its own here. We just want to make sure every possible piece of that cocoa is mixed in, and you don't see any more dry pockets at all. And we're just going to get this into the pan and we'll level it out, but we're going to have to level it with plastic wrap because it is the stickiest dough on the planet, let me tell you. Okay, there's that. And I will go ahead and preemptively get my plastic wrap provided to us by the lovely folks at Costco. And just get everything scooped in. Oh my gosh, it's easier said than done. And so the way I'm going to be shaping mine is into little squares. You can just leave it in your bowl. If you want to scoop it and make little truffle balls, it'll be great. Both of the recipes, the way they finished them was just rolling them in cocoa powder, which is a very classic way of doing it. Just a little bit more cocoa. You can also, if you don't have allergies, roll them in crushed nuts, crushed candies. I bet crushed peppermint candies would be amazing with this. Really, whatever you got. Roll it in cocoa and cinnamon and maybe a little bit of chili powder. So it's kind of like a Mexican truffle. Like a Mexican hot chocolate truffle. Not 100%, but it'll be pretty decent. Okay, that's probably as much of the dough as I'm going to be able to get out. Which really, this made a very small batch, which is perfect for us because this is very, very rich, very decadent. And I'm just trying to get as much of it off of my spatula as possible. Oh my gosh, it is being a brat. It happens. All right, so let's get a plastic wrap and just press it down firmly. And this is going to be very thin for me. You might want to use a smaller pan. I'm probably going to end up actually having to roll it all together, which is fine because this is a workable dough. If you look, it doesn't stick to the plastic, thankfully. It sticks to literally everything else, but not to the plastic, so yay. Reworking plans here really quick because I am making truffles. I'm going to do like a bonbon kind of truffle. Both of the videos made squares, which looked amazing to me, but not what I'm doing. Again, super sticky. So I'm just going to go ahead and make it into a log, which please hold your comments as to what this looks like. Let's just not do that because I know what it looks like. It ain't cute, y'all, but it'll work. Let's make it into a little sausage, a little chocolate sausage. Beat you to it. All right, roll it. And now I've got an extra dish. We learn, right? We learn. I did not try this before, so there we go. All right, now I'm going to pop this into the fridge for about 2 hours. It does need the time to really set up. And at the end of that 2 hours, I'm going to walk you through getting the chocolate ready. It's actually really simple. You just need your microwave. If you don't have a microwave in your home, I didn't have one when I was in seminary. Then you can do it just in a double boiler or just like a bowl over some simmering water and just slowly melt it. Chocolate's very picky. But I will walk you through that. It's very simple. It's very, very easy to do, to temper your chocolate. And then we will get these dipped, and then they'll have to sit and dry and cool, but because they'll be cold, it'll be easier. And then we get to enjoy them. So I'll see y'all back in just a moment. Alrighty, so we're back. It's been about an hour and 45 minutes or so, a little bit more than that. I already checked on basically the truffle dough, and it's solidified fairly well. I popped it in the freezer for mine, since I'm going to be covering it in chocolate, just for a couple of minutes to kind of really solidify the outside of it, because I'm going to cut it in pieces, roll it into balls, and then dip it. But I wanted to show y'all the chocolate. So first of all, I have 2 different kinds of chocolate in here. So I have chocolate chips. These are a darker chocolate chip. They're a 65% cacao chocolate chip that I got at Casco because I get pretty much everything there, feels like. They're just fantastic. They had them and they're like a specialty and they're delicious. They're not overly sweet, which I love. Of course, I'm a huge dark chocolate fan, so I prefer my chocolate not to be terribly sweet as it is. But then we have these little guys. So these are little chocolate rectangles. This is from Calabo. And it is a chocolate solids. So it's cocoa and so it's the actual powder and then cocoa fat. It has no sugar, no sweetener, nothing in it. So you put this in your mouth, it's going to be very dry, it's going to be very dark. It might even be a little bit disappointing by itself if you're really expecting the sweet sugary chocolate. If you just want something that's like hardcore chocolate though, perfect. I chopped this up, put it in chocolate chip cookies with the actual chocolate chips, and it just makes it so much more. But I did about half and half here, so this is about half-ish cup of each. And I'm just going to get it melted. So what I'm going to do is pop this into the microwave for about 30 seconds. Take it out, and we're going to stir it just a little bit because you have to stir it between each one or it will burn, and burnt chocolate is not tasty. And then microwave it for 15 more seconds each time until it is just melted. We don't want it to be too liquidy because it may not temper correctly at that point. You just want it just melted. That way it'll actually go back to this solid mass. It's tempered and it'll be a little bit shiny. So let's get this going. All right, so I've done the first 30 seconds and as you can see, it's still mostly solid. There's a little bit of it that melted, and so this is good. I'm gonna do it for another 15 seconds and I'll stir, and I will meet y'all back once I have it actually melted. Goodness, I'm just covered in chocolate. All right, so it has officially melted fully. Did it every 15 seconds, took it out, stirred it. And what that did is it just helps redistribute the heat so that everything kind of melts evenly, and you don't have any parts that are sticking to the sides or anything and burn, because again, not tasty. And there is some residual heat from the glass itself, and so that'll keep it melted a little bit. But it's just melted, so it still holds a shape whenever I drizzle it. And we don't want it much more than that. One, it'll be too hot for the truffles. Where did I put my towel? There it is. It'll be too hot for the truffles, and it'll kind of melt them and get them all gummied. But then also, it may not temper correctly then. When you overheat chocolate, it doesn't play well afterward. So we only wanted it just melted. So here we are. Now I'm gonna grab the dew out of my freezer. It's been in there for about 10 minutes at this point. It's firm, but it's not frozen hard. So let's get it out of our plastic wrap. I promise I know how to unwrap plastic wrap. Gonna. Ooh, yummy. Oh, that's so good. Ooh, that is rich. There was a little piece that had broken off. All right. So I'm going to cut this into some pieces. So cutting it in half. Guessing I can make this into about 12 decent sized little bonbon. Yeah, those are great. Probably right around 3/4 to 1 ounce. It's a decent size for a little piece of candy. Okay, so there we go. If you know what a Tootsie Roll is, a lot of Americans will. It's about the texture we're working with at this point. So I'm just going to roll it into a ball, trying to keep it as cool as possible, and just going to coat it in the chocolate. I have a fork here to kind of, wow, going everywhere, to help me. And then I have a cookie sheet with parchment and then a cooling rack so that the truffle can sit on top and just dry and drip off any of the extra chocolate, which will then get used for other things. I do not waste good chocolate, or even bad chocolate, which I don't believe there is such a thing. And so I'm going to get all of these dipped, and I'll see y'all back in just a second. I'm just going to fast forward ya. Okay, so I have everybody kind of rolled and covered in chocolate. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of the extra. They'll be messy, but it'll be a nice little addition. If you have anything like white chocolate or, again, ground nuts, something like that, you could sprinkle that on the top of these, or actually roll the bonbon in them, just to kind of coat them in chocolate and the nuts. Or you can completely forego the chocolate coating and roll these in cocoa, like I had mentioned earlier, or cinnamon, really, whatever you think would be tasty. Another thing, maybe some dehydrated strawberries or something. If you have like strawberry powder, that would be delightful with this. But there we go. If, say you're trying to have something a little bit nice with a human you're trying to woo, or just have fun with some friends over or something like that, this is the perfect quick little candy. And you can be like, yeah, I totally made these truffles from basically scratch. You might impress some folks because you've made candy. And you don't have to tell them that it was super duper easy. Because, I mean, in total, just making them, like actually working on them, took less than 5 minutes. It was then waiting for an hour and a half to 2 hours for them to really chill through and get ready for whatever you're going to do with them. Actually, the chocolate's almost set up on this one. Let's see how. This one's a little smaller, so I'm going to go for it. But the chocolate is almost set up on the outside. Of course, I added more, so the top melted. But I don't want to wait, because otherwise these are going to have to sit overnight. It's very late. I don't want to wait. I want chocolate now. So, holy moly. Excuse me, y'all, for going on a face journey. Wow. Oh my gosh, these are so flippin' good. And the chocolate on the outside with the unsweetened and then the chocolate chips mixed together, so it's really not sweet, because the inside almost treacly sweet. It's overwhelming. So the outside helps, and it's got a drying texture to it, so it's so nice. It's such a dark, deep chocolate. But the center is chewy. It's like really good fudge, which that makes me happy. I love fudge. I need to walk y'all through fudge. But, oh my gosh, like, if you're a chocolate lover, these are perfect. I'm just saying. So, yay. I'm going to get the whole thing. These are yours. Make them however you want. Of course, stick with the basic recipe. Try not to add liquids if you can help it. Maybe a little vanilla. A tiny bit of salt would have been great. I might still sprinkle some salt over the top before they completely dry. But try some different variations. Try the ground nuts, or try peanut butter powder. That would be amazing. Cinnamon sugar, or just like decorative sugar. Maybe some nonpareils, maybe some sugar beads, the little sugar BBs that are silver. Whatever you have, whatever you can find, whatever you want to put on there. Have fun with it. Flavor the chocolate coating. Don't use it at all. Roll them in whatever. Or just simply eat the dough as it is. Because yum. But have fun with it. This was an easy one. Maybe if you have childrens, get them in the kitchen with you. I enjoyed this one, and I hope you do too. So, until I see y'all again, bye. Hey, also, a little extra something. I had some stupidly sweet strawberries in my fridge. I figured I still have a little bit of the chocolate left over from the truffles. I don't like dipped strawberries because they tend to weep a little bit, and then the chocolate just slides right off. I don't like that. I like the chocolate to stay on, so it's one full delightful experience. So I'm just taking the chocolate because it's starting to set up a little bit, so it's easier to work with, and just spooning it over half a strawberry. Say you have some melon. Yum. Strawberries, blueberries. What do you got? Say you have some sandwich cookies or chocolate chip cookies. Maybe you've made some of my chocolate chip cookies. Dip them in some chocolate or brush some chocolate on them. Throw some of those ground nuts that you had in here. Roll it around. Make that into a little crunchy truffle. you know, it doesn't have to go to waste. I mean, it shouldn't, and it won't, especially not in my house. But you know, have fun with what's left over, and add it into your little repertoire of things that you can make fairly quickly and easily that might impress some folks. And yes, I am going to stand here and scrape out every last drop of chocolate that is in this bowl and eat it. Hallelujah and amen.